come into this, but this here. How about let's not start with the mic muted. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, if any of you are watching. The date is January the 4th, 1664, and I have no idea what's going on in the world. It's been how long? It's been what? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Who could even say? So while I quickly try to get to grips with the stream, moving everything into place as it should be. Teshuva's going down, I remember that, says noted leader of the Tributaries Tribute. That's correct. Very well remembered that, man. So anyway, what we're going to do, well, you can see from here, Teshuva, not in a great way. Let's head to the ledger, where we will see this. Where we'll see a whole load of player country shields against a whole load of other player country shields. So we'll take little steps around the globe, get us caught up. Now, the most interesting war, well, probably not the most interesting war, but you can see over here, where Columbia, hegemons of Japan, they've eliminated Glorious Nippon, they've all but eliminated Haraganea. Well, so we thought. Noted Three Mountains Conquerors, Lord Noah Epiphanes, is literally, this is his only province, he only has Okinawa, currently defeating the rebel-strewn landscapes of Japan, Weibo noble rebels, glorious Nippon separatists, and here is the one Paragonese army conquering the southern islands of Japan. With, you know, they've got like 2 tiny fleets. They can actually transport their entire army at once. Clever. Separatist stack is huge, and most notably, that's the size of the Weibo army. 4,000 against about 100,000 rebels. Not looking good. We'll soon see Glorious Nippon back on the map over there. What else is going down? So let's just go in order from here now. So the second delegation conquest of Rhyme. So the delegation, it's literally the second time they've tried this. Running headfirst into Epiphany and hoping Epiphany would falter. The first time they lost, they got beaten back around here, if I remember correctly. And they were set for the same thing this time. But Epiphany then were declared upon by Luxembourg. And Luxembourg brought with them newly minted great power Yharnam, who have all but eliminated, was it Osterode over here, who are the other yellow country? And that really annoyed me. But Yharnam, I think, have pretty much killed the biggest of their yellow rivals in Europe. Steiermark up next, obviously. And so Epiphany, far from just beating down on the delegation, if the delegation can hold out, and indeed their capital is long under siege, if the delegation can hold out for Yarnish aid, then the delegation, who are already, they made a huge jump in score, by the way. Let's have a quick recap of the scores in a more helpful way rather than the video. You can see miles in the lead, Tributaries in Hispania. But the delegation jumped up from like 12th place, and they are climbing quite quickly. Nowhere near as quick as the front two, of course, who are neck and neck as it stands right now. That is quite the race. That is quite the 2-horse race. Chigoris probably won't catch them at this rate. But anyway, we'll have a recap of the scores at the end of the session, as we always, well, I say as we always do, as I always forget and then get prompted to do. So moving down the list, that doesn't like a familiar flag at all. That's the Luxembourg conquest of Valois. And then we have Mother Base doing something for a change. Mother Base, for essentially the entire duration of the game, they started with these provinces over here as well. And they got beaten down by Achaemenia. Who else did they get beaten down by? But they got beaten down by various people, and then Achaemenia got cocky. I mean, they're a great power, 6th in the world. They got cocky, they tried to take on too many people at once. They tried to take on like Mono Rohan, Mother Base, and maybe Aydin as well at the same time. I think that's what they did. And then they got beaten back, and now Achaemenia, with no real allies of note, getting beaten down by Mother Base, Ganja, this tiny state up here, and Mono Rohan. It's not looking great for the Zoroastrians there. You can kind of see who they had royal marriages with. That's who they used to be allies with. But they are now no longer real friends. In any case, Achaemenia will still have the biggest army there. One-on-one, they could take Mono Rohan, they could take Mother Base. Could they take them both at once? Probably not. Have I run out of proper music already? Let's get straight into the Night Runner. That's what we're all here for. It's really just a synthwave stream with a whole load of elaborate early modern political scheming going on behind it. Moving down this Paragonea, we've seen... Right, this is the big war. In fact, we'll come back to that war last. We have the Tribute Teshuvan War. Teshuva were perhaps the most stagnant of all countries. Trapped as they are between Hispania to the west, the Tributaries to the north, Nicosonia to the east, and Slavers Bay to the south. Absolutely no way for them to feasibly expand, but they got forgotten about. Until late last session, when the Tributaries landed 71,000 troops on this tiny island on Jerba there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's all the Tributaries. Wow, they want a bit more than that now. Tribute is wanting to push all the trade they can into Venice. And Tunis doesn't actually go into Venice. Tributaries still have a stake in Genoa, though. Interesting, I forgot about that. It's Alexandria that fades right into Venice. Yeah. So Teshuva, again, no allies, no real friends. They don't even have the royal marriages to signify they used to be friends with people. Nicosonia next on the list, says the Tributaries. Well, we'll see. Probably Athens next on the list, if we're being honest. Now, the final war. We have the Emperor of the Catholic Holy Roman Empire, Hansereich, led by Helmut von Kamichi. All-around good guy. I think. All-around good guy. And then Rhein-Neckar, their stalwart friend and ally. Tolk is saying wow. I don't know why, but we'll get to it soon. Stalwart ally of the Emperor, Rhein-Neckar, decided to go on the offensive. Against, who was it? Who was it they're against? Oversticht. And Oversticht are these guys up here. And that's ripped the Catholic side, or rather this is all the Catholic side now, but it ripped that alliance apart. So Rhein-Neckar, kind of lacking major allies. Hansereich. Oh, the tolerant left are in there. Not so much lacking major allies, but lacking allies that will help them in Central Europe. Yharnam became a dragon. I remember this now. I remember this. I can't remember what side we decided was the dragon. We have Tver here, but Tver, they were a big purple force on the outside of Europe, but they got beaten back by Yharnam. And they got beaten back by Curonia as well. All this, in fact, I think, pretty sure all of this, including Novgorod, St. Petersburg, it all used to belong to Tver. Kostani got their revenge on Athens. Kostani were on their way out. Constantinople was pretty much cut off from the tiny lands they kept up here, but they've come back with a vengeance. Aporia, they're doing well for themselves. They've got 3 different countries now. Look, 1, 2, 3. 3 times as good as nearly anyone else. Shambhala, ascendant in the east. If we have a quick look at the great powers, we can see that Shambhala have actually embraced all institutions. How have they done that? They've somehow gotten printing press, which is impressive. That means Shambhala actually have the most development in the world. I think they've overtaken Jabaraland. If we have a quick look in here, if I remember what I'm doing. And Hispania, obviously, with... Of course, let us not forget Hispania and the La Grande Marionettes. Garovdesh joined in an holy union under King Sancho Revanche. Soon to be succeeded by no heir Revanche. I say soon, King Sancho Revanche is 16. Probably not anytime soon. The music's coming across as a bit loud to me, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Just so I'm not shouting for the next 2 hours over it. But do tell me if there's any like sound levels that need to be lowered or raised. If I need to shout right into my mic and make everything terrible. So what we did, Punjabi prison on the ascendancy. Tally-ho, Nadeshar, absolutely not. Celestial Entente, maintain hold of the poisoned chalice of zero mandate. Chigoris, I remember Chigoris. I remember Alaska. I remember Chigoris in Mexico. Oh god, it's all kicking off over here. The delegation, this is where they get all their power from. We've even got the tolerant left over in Argentina. Hispania, Brazil. Slavis Bay doing a whole lot of nothing, even though they now border Matamba. They should be going to town there, likewise on Sennar. Nicosonia, they've never done anything in their life. Lagofia got beaten back a bit. Communist Luxembourg have also done nothing. So, I think 15 minutes in, we've recapped, and I think we're just about ready to get underway. Let's do it. So I think eyes at the moment will be down here on Epiphany, but if you want to cut away to anywhere, like say, oh, how are glorious Nippon separatists going on? Bam, we're there. Nothing's happened because it's been a week. It's been a month. Let me just double check how the stream is doing. It seems to be doing absolutely fine. So this is the big one. Will the delegation fold before Yharnam kind of saved the day? War of Hansareich has ended. And it doesn't look like Rhein-Neckar picked up anything, does it? Or did they take them as a vassal? No, perhaps that was... Yeah, that was a white peace. That was a base 5-year truce. That was just plain white peace. Interesting. Mick, can you turn the music down a tad? I certainly can. And we could see Luxembourg swamping over Epiphany with Yharnam's help. That's because the Epiphany army is concentrating on the delegation. Cagliari, Catalonia. Weren't they all part of this trade league, those guys? No? Maybe they're in this war then, who knows? We have the massive armies of the tolerant left, just silently watching from across the channel. Epiphany, of course, have fewer allies than they did before. We've seen the tolerant left attempt to land grab into France. And this would be the time to do it. Can we look at navies? We can. That is just oversticked pretender rebels there. No separatists to get excited about. So let us keep the game running while looking at navies. So if we look at heavy ships, Hispania, the delegation, Caminot all the way up there. The delegation with the Dutch Republic actually get a combat bonus to heavy ships. No sailors though. Their ships they're not getting repaired. Rhein-Neckar literally in another war already. If Solus hadn't called that out, I'd have probably missed it. They are just straight up crusading against the Artolian Jews, which is not a good look for your central German states, if I'm to be completely honest. But that's what Rhein-Neckar want. Now that they're not allied with Hansareich, they just want to expand, and they want to expand everywhere. So that is just going to be a straight-up elimination for Artolia as soon as this Rhein-Neckar army reaches their ally in Heiligmalches. So a port in Ostfriesland and a port in Oldenburg. That's not really going to help with trade that much because Ostfriesland is actually in the English Channel. No, that's not going to stop the Rhineland trade going out to Champagne. So the delegation, their army is finally getting in there, but their capital is still under siege. So they're still losing this war. Valencia going in on Catalonia. Remember, Valencia are in a quite a precarious position themselves. They are already they're already ruled by the Revanche dynasty. This is peace, by the way, between... Oh, hold on. Costagne, and I know they're ambitious. But that's ambition. There's ambition. And then there's ambition. Costagne trying to just smash Athens. And the tribute is hiring out a Rhein-Neckar army. Does that mean it's already peace up there? It is. Artolia are gone. And Rhein-Neckar already hiring out their armies. Brought in Nicosonia. Whoa, now that's an interesting one. Nicosonia actually doing something. The problem here is that Athens will capitulate. Military tech 16 against military tech level 21. Tech level 21 over there as well. But with this hiring out of a massive army from Rhein-Neckar, and the tributaries' huge mercenary army that they can afford to pay. Look, this is the army that was marching around from Teshuvah. It was exiled. They've marched all the way through Hispania. They're about to head back into Lucca now and head round to Athens. Big old battle here. And it's the hired ruler from Rhein-Neckar leading the charge. We see Nicholsonia's armies just heading through Anatolia just now. But I don't think they're going to get there in time. I swear if tribute somehow saves Athens. Did tributaries take anything from Teshuvah? I don't think so. There's a long truce. I would make the guess that they're steering trade to the tributaries, or they've ceded trade power, something like that, along with reparations. So the delegation have managed to take their capital back, and they've managed to get in a couple of sieges on Epiphany, but broadly this is all going to Luxembourg. We could see Parisian Luxembourg in a matter of seconds, because that is minus 74 war score. That's going to be New Nero separatists. Nearly catching an army off guard. Athens is being sieged back now by the tributaries. It will fall any day now. Nicosonia desperately building up an army. Achaemenia really going down in flames. They're losing the Caucasus area. Caucasian mountains. Who knows? And they're certainly losing the Persian Gulf. That'll be what Mother Base actually want. There we go. Exactly what they want. They just want a way round the Persian Gulf through Hormuz as well. Although Achaemenia, it's the Achaemenia armies that are right here, and the Mother Base armies are where? Who knows? Monorohan in the north as well. Oh, hello. We've looked up here, and there are a whole bunch of communist Luxembourg nobles who have risen up against the proletariat. Is Monorohan in on the Achaemenia War? Yep. They are in against Achaemenia. As they always have been, as they probably always will be. The tributaries seem to have given up on actually unsieging Athens in favour of potentially taking down Macedonia. Salonika there. Oh, and we see the Kostani Mediterranean fleet in there. Is Zagreb in there separately? They are. Oh, Zagreb are in there on their own, and they have now taken almost the entirety of Athens. So Athens cannot be saved by the tributaries in this war, which is hilarious. So if Zagreb could take all of Athens, theoretically, and they couldn't because Crete's here and they're not going to get to Crete, then theoretically there's nothing there for the tributaries to save. Curonia trying to suck up to the tributaries. Curonia now have quite a power base for themselves. Zoom out here because Shambhala, as we all know, never go too long without a ridiculously aggressive war. Nobles have 100% overtaken Weabolumbia, and Paragonea instead are going for Korea. Mahasada almost to see. Yep, so Mahasada have benefited greatly from the fracturing of the Celestial Entente. All these Chachao separatists who are now attacking Shambhala, now attacking Mahasada, they were attacking the Celestial Entente, and Mahasada and Shambhala have taken advantage. Mahasada particularly looked down and out, because Shambhala... This all used to be Mahasada before Shambhala got here. Where are the separatists, though? So the glorious separatists still have Kyoto occupied. The noble rebels won't change the occupations. And I think once Wave Columbia breaks, which won't take very long now, because the capital's been occupied for quite some time, we will see Glorious Nippon back on the map in some shape or form. That's quite sad to see that Wave Columbia only have a 3k army against the 7k Paraganeans. Wave Columbia screwed? Yep, certainly. Peyote Khanate separatists in the Celestial Entente. Still no peace in the west. Communist Luxembourg. It is all noble rebels. Indeed. No separatists can really spawn from Communist Luxembourg. Peasants as well. They're almost worth just capitulating to the noble rebels here. Rather than get what's left of their army slaughtered or lose a bunch of manpower to attrition, Zagreb have booted the hell out of Athens. Indeed, they don't even have Athens anymore. What? Are we just going to change the name to Morea now? But Athens do occupy Constantinople. Which is interesting. Here's the thing, Athens could take all of this land and they would still be so behind on tech that it's just not worth it. Athens are utterly screwed, no matter what happens. They could get the land of the Ottoman Empire at its height. Why are Rhein-Neckar in this war? Oh no. Well, Valencia, they're in this war over here, and they're attacking Teshuvah. And remember, there were troops over here rented out by Rhein-Neckar. Oh no. Paris belongs to Luxembourg. But unfortunately, not the custom Luxembourg that maybe it should. So who's allied to Luxembourg now? Hansa Reich and Yarnum. They're looking like an increasingly valuable ally to have. And this leaves the door open for the delegation to just snake in. Take this entire coastline now. They can't take their war goal of Reims. And indeed, you can see no one controls Reims. That's not going to count towards war score. So all they need to do now is use their vastly superior army, which they've now brought back from their colonies. Well done, lads. To just take over this entire coast, and Epiphany are done. Big old battle is Nicosonia. Oh, the reinforcements coming in Nicosonia. Look at that full line of mercenary infantry. Full line, well, not quite full line of artillery at the back. But then Costagni coming in. Whoa. A defeat there for the Tributeers. Maybe if they had a full line of artillery. Tolerant left in a war in Belize. Continuing to conquer their way through Cozumel. Bogota next up, one would imagine. That's what makes the Tributeers such a potent threat, though, is that they rely on their mercenaries. And they not only have the money to afford a massive mercenary army through their massive amounts of trade power. Oh, hello, there's a Nicosonia army in Istria. Is that Brittany carving up Epiphany? Yes, it is. Allied now with Communist Luxembourg in the delegation. We could see Epiphany down and out immediately here. No friends left. That's it. Siege of Treviso there. This is a risky one for Nicosonia, because that's a hill fort. And as we know, the Tributeers can quickly build up a mercenary army and hit them off that. Oh, if the delegation have somehow messed this up and are letting Brittany get all these occupations up there, then that's just pathetic. One of the most pathetic war performances I've ever seen. Here's the thing. The delegation were the first to declare war on Epiphany. And if somehow they're going to be the ones to come out of it with nothing, while Epiphany gets completely eaten by Luxembourg and Brittany. An utterly pathetic performance. Rhein-Neckar, yeah, that was the War of Catalonia. As you can see, Valencia now. Weren't they allied with Valencia? No, I misread it. War allied. It's the same thing, really. They both create truces. So Castagna getting beaten down. If we zoom out, this is going to take a while to recover from. Communist Luxembourg, this is why they should have just accepted the demands of the nobles. What are they going to say? Hey, a bit more autonomy for us? Yeah, on you go. Sure. But you can see now, Hispania, untouched. Gorovdesh, untouched. The Tolerant Left, untouched. The Tributaries, this is the interesting one. Because that siege, I think we just missed. That Nicholsonia army getting demolished. But they'll have looted the hell out of Treviso. They'll have devastated it a little bit. Go back to Japan, we certainly will. Who... Maybe, I'm guessing 5 glorious Nippon provinces? Whoa. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The entire southern island for Paragonea and a bit in the north. I'm seeing very few troops though. Let's have a look at this. Just a glowing red ball of devastation in Korea and Japan. Oh dear. Here's the thing, those new countries, they won't have truces. So whoever's... Well, Paragonea have a truce with Columbia. But if Glorious Nippon were to quickly build up an army and go for it, they could probably win that war. That was a celestial... Oh, no. Oh, no. So, Mahasada. We said they were recovering. But to what end? So, they're going for the Celestial Entente. But the Casus Belli is to take the Celestial Throne. They want the Mandate of Heaven. Well, either they want the Mandate of Heaven... or they just want a cheap Casus Belli to take all of this Chinese land. I'd like to think they're just going to take all that land. But if we see Mahasada take the throne of China, then they will just evaporate. So we see Brittany cutting in here, which means... Oh! Picardy got Calais back. They're cut off from land. They got one province! After all that, they got 13 development. Brittany by themselves, 31. 42 development, Brittany by themselves. Luxembourg, I can't even count that high. And the delegation, noted great power, the delegation, although Lord knows how they can be called great, just took one province. It was all there for the taking. This just says it all, does it not? As bad as it's gotten for Epiphany, at least we're not Duke Fergus Hamilton and the New Nero Empire. Oh, the New Nero Empire actually allied to Bogota. This is absolutely the time that the Tolerant Left should be looking at this amphibious landing. No friends left. Oh, here's the thing, here's the thing, here's the thing. if they're allied to the New Nero Empire... Oh, the New Nero Empire literally just betrayed them as we spoke there. Because... yeah, Picardy of Liège and Calais only fame are getting their little slice, albeit backed by Rhein-Neckar. So the tribute is continuing to fight here. But the war score is somehow even. Oh yeah, because that's personal war score, and it's Athens who are the war leader. Yeah, they're winning that. Does the tolerant left want anything? Well, Imam Stephen Courtney, he's a balanced guy. He wants Epiphany. But no, what I got so excited about is that the tolerant left would of course declare war on the New Nero Empire at some point, and that would bring in Epiphany by necessity. How much do Picardy want? Because we could see Picardy swallow up that coast. Oh, for goodness sake. Just when Athens were down and out, they're back in it with their nothing for tech. Let's have a... You know what, lads? Let's just catch up on this technology map, yeah? See how it's gone. No. I love this. You can understand why these guys, if they're no institutions, how the Incas don't have tech. How Madagascar... Here's the thing. Madagascar... 12, 16, 17. Madagascar are about even with Athens. The African interior is just about even with Athens. Even Japan, even the Japanese checkerboard is ahead of Athens. I'm getting very angry today. I'm getting very angry for very good reasons today. Let's catch up with India. Anything happening over in India? The Celestial Entente are dead. I'm somewhat shocked that Shambhala have not declared another war yet. They've got truces with the Celestial Entente. Maybe they took their own little bit of land. Who did this belong to? Like, yeah. I mean, clearly they've just taken it from the Celestial Entente. So, Shambhala, led by... Oh, I'm not trying to pronounce that. But Shambhala, of course they want everything. That wouldn't actually be too bad a country, would it? A nice, smooth northern border. Got a nice, smooth south borders. You know, if Shambhala get that, you know what? I'll sacrifice Gyanlane for the cause. Gyanlane, a bit ambitious there. Gyanlane back, allied with Kamenot. Monorohan as well. The alliance with Tally-Ho is not one I strictly support, but they're guaranteed by Kamenot as well. Nadeshur, guaranteed by Gyanlane. That would be the downfall of Gyanlane. What did Mother Base take? Good point. So they have crossed the Strait at Hormuz and are cutting into Moghestan. And notably, they've taken Basra, which is the estuary of the Euphrates and a major part of the Basra node, which will stop their trade leaking out of Hormuz. And indeed, cutting into Achaemenia's trade in itself. This border was like this before with Monorohan, but was it like that recently? Is this just back to our lovely, neat, kind of square border? If not for this province, Monorohan... If Monorohan swapped that province for these provinces here, they'd be back to their brick in the steps. So Picardy expanding. Hello? Did they literally just jump in that tiny amount of time that we were over there? Maybe a threat? Yeah, probably a threat. Tolk brings up a very good point.
You must learn to be faster than any
Because their armies are still hanging around Ireland. They wouldn't have been gone back. I think they threatened for Cotentin. Which is very interesting now. They don't have religious ideas, which means they can't just start crusading into Brittany and Epiphany once the truce expires, but they'll be able to make claims. Indeed, they have a claim on Picardy and Calais as well. But as I always say, here's the thing. If it came down to a fight between the Tolerant Left and Garavdesh/Hispania, to really defeat the Tolerant Left, you've got to beat them at sea. And Hispania might be able to do that. But can they get the troops across? All the Tolerant Left need to do to get their troops across is get them across the literal province called the Channel, which is a very easy hop. Garavdesh need to go from around here. Hispania need to go from Spain, obviously. So it's a tactical, it's a strategic advantage for the Tolerant Left at the moment. Hold on. Interesting war. Hispania are once again going on an African adventure. They've got their troops in the Congo as we speak. Jabariland sending their troops round to South Africa, cutting off the trade at the Cape. But Shambhala are in this one. And Shambhala, probably, they have perhaps the most fearsome armies in the game. Nah, Hispania do, but Shambhala's is right up there, and they have the potential to go far higher. So that's the war as we see it. But it's a matter of projection as well. Obviously, Jabariland can project their entire force into this theatre. But this has happened before, and I bet if we go across to Shambhala, if we follow the path... No, they're not even moving. Maybe they don't have access yet. Because I doubt they really have the navy for it. So anyway, this is what the war goal is. And as you can see, it's been taken by Hispania. What the AI tends to do once they have exploration ideas... The last idea in exploration ideas allows you to... No, it's expansion ideas, actually. Exploration ideas allows you to forge a claim on any province in a colonial zone. Oh, I can actually show this. So where it says Colonial Brazil, Colonial La Plata, etc. Exploration, with full exploration ideas, you can fabricate a claim without having a border on any province in these. And what expansion allows you to do is the same thing, but for the trade company areas. So with expansion ideas, I bet that Hispania have a genuine claim on Kilwa. Or New Hispania does. And the reason that AI does that is for all the gold provinces, of which there are plenty within Jabariland. So I'd bet if we look down at Sofala, we see New Hispania again. New Hispania, Communist Luxembourg, all with claims down there. Quite ambitious for Communist Luxembourg to be looking at it, if I'm to be honest. But I can never fault ambition. Valencia have now fully annexed Catalonia. And you have to expect that Hispania will be looking at gobbling up Valencia. Was this border always this rubbish? Or did Nicosonia lose to Al-Wahat at some point? This is just all the tributary ones. I think we've seen this before, actually. What are the tributary ideas again? I know they started with trade as a merchant republic. Trade, quantity, offensive, economic. If they put quality in there, then that's a really fearsome army. I really hope they take quality next. I reckon they'll take like espionage next or something though. Back over here. No, we still haven't seen the end to this war. A truce with glorious Nippon is nearly up. Did they go to war? Who can tell? Who among us can tell at this point? But we have Mahasada. No. I can't believe you've done this. I cannot believe that Noe Manpreet is now the Emperor of China. I can't believe that next time I'm gonna have to unironically put out as a description the Reformation, Reconciliation and Revenge of the Celestial Entente. I never asked for this. At least they got a coastline in the process, but Mahasadar are just gonna get thumped. And they're probably gonna drag Chigoris down with them. Europe seems like it's quieting down a bit. New Near Empire desperately trying to reach out to the delegation, which absolutely will not work. See, here we go. Here's the Shambhala army taking huge attrition by going 100k in the same Arabian desert tiles with barely any supply limit. 8 supply limit! And they're trying to support 100,000 troops walking through it. At least stagger them, come on. But you see where projection becomes a problem. Jabaralan can do this all day. They don't have to actually engage with the Hispanian troops. They just have to make sure that Hispania doesn't take the war goal and siege back everything until Shambhala gets there. And when Shambhala gets here, although Garavdesh should have 12k up here to just, what, meet them? Siege down Zayla and don't let them past? It's ambitious. What's that coming over the hill? Is it Shambhala? What's the difference in military tech? We have tech 19 and 20 on one side, and we have 21 and 21 on the other. Now, I don't know the differences between Miltech at this level. Some levels mean more than others. Look at Garavdesh just run now. Sprinting away across Hadia. Slavers Bay have an ally. Oh yes, Matambar, I forgot. They need to get rid of that, in my opinion. Yarnum inside of Rhein-Neckar. But they are at war with Athens, because Steiermark have gone in on Athens. And did the tributaries not come to their defense, or were they... The tributaries are allied with Yarnum. This is new. This is new and should really be terrifying for Rhein-Neckar. No, it isn't, of course, because that's why we said the tributaries betrayed us. And then it was like, oh, Hansareich and Rhein-Neckar need to stick together. And then Rhein-Neckar immediately didn't. It's coming back to me now. But Steiermark doing their best to annoy me by creating another yellow country right beside Athens. And it's going to be a complete walk in the park for them, because of course it is. Here's the thing. If the tributaries hadn't conquered all of this for Athens to give them a border with Steiermark, this would have never happened. The tributaries don't really care for much. They want to consolidate the Italian provinces in the Genoa node, but if we look at Rhein-Neckar, they don't really want to go for the tributaries, actually. They're more concerned with Yarnum, but if they want Yarnum, they're going to have to go through the tributaries. Hansareich desperately trying to suck up to Rhein-Neckar, as are Athens and various miners. Hadia at war with Al-Wahat. So obviously this isn't a player war, so far as we can see it. So what are Mother Base doing in here? Have they initiated the war? Oh, hello. No, it's Nicosonia have declared war on Mother Base. That's the war. Interesting. That's actually really interesting. You've got 3 specific fronts. You've got Hadia coming into Al-Wahat from the south, Nicosonia on Mother Base. You've got Legofia and Mororohan just going to have their own war. So Nicosonia looking to demolish Al-Wahat quickly before Hadia dies. And likewise, Al-Wahat and Mother Base try to eliminate Hadia. In reality, they're probably both going to die. Oh, here we go. We have the tolerant left in Brittany. They've bitten off quite a lot here. But the tolerant left have brought in help themselves. So if we look at this, obviously the green guys are going to win, but we scroll out a bit, and that's a major colonial war. It's all kicking off. The tolerant left with their army right here, and the navy beating down Brittany's as well. Oh, that's a trade fleet against a war fleet. Is the tolerant left's trade fleet so good that they're just going to beat down the Brittany war fleet? That's impressive. Though I think that the tolerant left have in there light ship combat ability plus 20, ship durability plus 15. So no wonder their trade fleets are doing the business. So Hansereich need to hold out against the delegation. The Hansereich want anything from there and vice versa? Nope. They're just too far away. If one of them had the province of Groningen, then I'm sure they'd be at each other's throats, but they don't really care about this war. It's all about the tolerant left beating down Brittany. So I think that was something of a foregone conclusion, so we are going to concentrate over here as we see Hadia getting taken down very quickly. Who's going to be the first to be knocked out? Because if it's Hadia, it's either going to be Hadia or Al-Wahat, well, unless Legofia just completely abandoned the place to Monorohan, which they seem to have done. Where's the Legofian armies? Because there's only 3,000 Monorohan troops here. Where are the Legofian armies? Well, here's the Legofian army just outside Cairo. And here's the other one getting beating back Monorohan, to be fair, which is what they should be doing. They should just do it in their own territory and not on the east of Persia. Brittany fully occupied, so pretty much no matter what happens in the war, that's going to be positive war score now. Oh, it's a war of honour. So it's about superiority. Do they not even have a claim? Do they have no claims on Brittany? Wow, they don't even have a claim on Brittany. They're just going for it on a war of honour. Because they can. That's impressive. It's going to make it really expensive for them to actually take land. Big old battle down here has Hispania have consolidated their armies into one. And Shambhala are concentrating on sieging down. Although I don't know why. Delegation are in there trying to take it back. Of course they are. And have they succeeded? Have they just completely beaten back the tolerant left? Where's their army? This opens up Hansereich to go all in and try and take out Antwerpen. Too much is going on. So much that I missed that it was 1675. So we'll take this break at nearly the hour mark to make our customary autosave. And I try to drink without coughing and not really managing it. Let's go all the way down here to where we last made one of these. Obviously, it wasn't this one. MK Season 2, 1675. We are quite the way through the game. And that's not even the one we want to load. There we go. So if there's anything anyone wants to see, this is like kind of a little break for it. And we are back. What I didn't show you guys earlier on, actually, is the absolute state of New Zealand. Carminot, Australia, Jabari, Australia, Chagorician, Australia. Hispania have landed over here. Australia Major in Australia. Australia Major occupied by Tidor. Manila going to war over here. I think Jabariland's in Jambi, in Banjar. And Australia Major... No, that's Tidor down there. Who knows? And you know what? The Malayan Peninsula was a mistake. Carminot, what did they take? They took exploration. That's not too bad to take, honestly. There's a truce there with Nadir Shah, which means I think they have rescinded their offer of protection, so of Gyan Lane, because Nadir Shah, they've got a tributary. They've got 4 tributaries. That's better than the Celestial Entente ever did. They are still losing mandate at a devastating rate because they are bordered by the Hive, Shambhala, Gyan Lane, Punjabi Prison, Mono Rohan, all non-tributaries. Glorious Nippon back in Korea. We never asked for this. Right, let me quickly flip to some different music. What do I want to listen to? I really like this album. This EP, because it's like 16 minutes long. We'll have this on just now. And we'll have a quick recap of the ongoing wars. There's not as many, but potentially more devastating. We've got the 3-on-3 in the east. Australia Major in some Indonesian adventures. The Tolerant Left going in, Hispania going in, and Bogota doing something or other. But we don't care about that. Let us continue on. Because this time, the delegation actually have their army at home. Which is always nice. That's not even Nero separatists, that's Munster separatists. So the Tolerant Left taking land captured by Hansareich over here. And if Hansareich could bring down Antwerp before this army gets back... Oh, there's the Tolerant Left's army. They got beaten back, they retreated, but they're still around and picking off errant stacks there. They should have kept their army together. You see the army marching in. Will they be quick enough to save? Yes, they will. And the Tolerant Left, discretion, the best part of valor, as Antwerpen falls. And the delegation up against a mighty Hansareich fleet. 20 heavy ships for Hansareich. This is a major naval battle. I'm shocked Hansareich have that big a navy. So the delegation desperately need to get their capital back. But are they going to manage it? They should be able to smash the Tolerant Left here. And they're not going for it. Why aren't you going to smash that army? Why are you not going to smash that army? You'd win. Probably. Almost. Possibly you'd win. They have taken a whole host of trash ideas for army quality, to be fair. Meanwhile, Hansareich doing the heavy lifting here. Look at this. Why don't these guys just turn around and smash that army? Oh, I'm afraid that there's not going to be a season 3, ladies and gentlemen. What? Why are Brittany... Oh, of course it's Brittany. I thought that was Curonia for a second because those borders made a whole lot more sense. So Lagofia, having abandoned their homeland, are now paying for it. A ruthless three-star general is sieging down Crimea. A whole hive of activity around the Western Mediterranean as this war rages on. That'll soon go to -25 war score for not controlling Kilwa. Unless they can get it back, of course, and they might. There's just a 40k Shambhala army and a 40k Garavdesh army playing chicken over the Straits of Mandeb. Oh, but here comes the big lads. Here come the big boys. They're gonna march straight through the Saharan desert. Hadir and Al-Wahat still in this war. Neither of them have been knocked out. Lagofia might end up being the first ones knocked out, especially with the separatists taking over the east of their country now, and still no army in sight to liberate it. But still, Antwerp isn't down. So there we go. Oh my god. So the tolerant left expand further through Brittany, cutting off the very tip for itself. But now, once more into the breach, Brittany have brought, Luxembourg, who are now stupidly well connected, have brought in Yarnum and are now taking over the rest. If you showed me this at the start of today's session, it's like, oh, Luxembourg want all this. It's like, ambitious, bit of a piss take, it's a bit funny. But look, they're about to reach the Atlantic Ocean. From Luxembourg. And here's the thing. They've called in Yarnum. But this is all Luxembourg troops. Because they can now afford a good army. What? Could they get random ideas, these guys? So what have they got? It's shameful that we now have to actually look this up. They've got infantry combat, they've got shock damage, they've got -5 damage received. They've got maximum... This is just Epiphany 2. What ideas have they taken? Humus, diplomatic, quantity, offensive. They've taken all good ideas as well. Riding the car have warned them. And they've just gone to war anyway. So this war rages on. Nicosonia against Mother Base. What is the war goal? So, Yambu al-Bahar, which I'm guessing is this. It's a good war goal to take right on your border. It's a fort, difficult to take back. Although Monorohan going to siege the war goal back imminently. I think we need to replace the Swiss flag in the intro vid with the Luxembourg flag. What does the Luxembourg flag look like? Nah, we're not doing that. The bastion of Catholicism, because Epiphany were Protestant as well, weren't they? When's the next set of ideas? I can't remember. Obviously that's dependent on your admin tech. And obviously we have a lot of countries right at the cutting edge of technology. Communist Luxembourg falling further and further behind due to their rebel problems. But much of Europe, and now even much of India, on a par. That's a new Holy Roman Emperor, and it is Denis, hopefully von Kamichi. A Regency Council for Denis von Kamichi, noted 6-year-old. If Hansereich ever lose... If they ever lose Holy Roman Emperorship, they are pretty much done. Look at that laundry list of allies now, just throwing everyone against the dual threats of Rhein-Neckar and Yharnam. So the delegation, they've tried hard. Now they're going for a bit of an easier target. To be fair, all this time, the delegation have been growing colonially. They're probably the best... They'd probably have the biggest colonies. They'll probably be raking in the most from it. Canada was clearly a mistake. As was America. Mexico is going to be a bit of a terse standoff between Chigoris and leftist Mexico. But South America is almost entirely delegation. Will the delegation be able to keep their colonies if they stay like this? If they get beaten down, then no. But otherwise, they are probably powerful enough. Of course, Luxembourg went exploration as well. And delegation are trying to get them to revolt. It's only a small Luxem-Columbia, if I remember correctly. But still, they're looking to revolt. So if you have a look along the delegation, that's about standard for Liberty Desire for colonies. Obviously, delegation La Plata getting big. Need to be kept down a little bit. But that can be solved by the delegation becoming rich at home. And how they do that is by the trade map... no, that's trade goods. My apologies. By the delegation maintaining their share of the English Channel. Look at that insane amount of piracy going on in the English Channel as well. Rhein-Neckar, Hispania, the tributaries, all privateering the English Channel. Yeah, I was about to say, this is the one they should be privateering, but the tolerant left have that on lockdown themselves. Anyone going for Venice? Yeah, I thought not. Constantinople could be a good one to privateer. As can the Baltic... As can Lübeck, actually. Yeah, Hansereich with 75% share of the trade. That's what they should be privateering. So much for the New Nero Empire. The tolerant left are looking to complete their set of Irish provinces. And Duke Fergus Hamilton, he's just going to sit there and defend himself. Although you've got the leftist West Indies right here. So I'm assuming a naval... And you've got Argentinian... Leftist Argentine down there as well. So I assume it's but a matter of time before Jacob Erskine and his army down here. He's a good general, actually. 353. Imagine if the New Nero Empire dies without scoring a point. That's already going to happen. I don't have to imagine that. It's happening in front of our very eyes. If you notice a change in the colour there, that's because Flux came on and I only just realised it there. If things were a little dimmer than they should have been. Right, so this war once again is over. Once again, Kilwa not in Hispanian hands. And once again, a white peace. I long for the day we don't get a diplomat in charge of Slavers Bay. How is Slavers Bay not going to war? Because if you look at who they're beside, they don't have any actual connection to Hispania, to Teshuva. They have one connection down here to Matampa. That's their one ally. That's why, if you remember the intro, that's why I put the trade value map in, because it's quite interesting. Because if you look at the whole world, you see a bunch of red, even in Europe. And then in Europe, especially over here, we see the incredibly rich tributaries with nearly all green provinces. We see over here all red provinces, all red, all red, all red. And then this is usually pretty similar to the rest of Africa, but you look at Slavers Bay. Yellows, greens, I think blue is gold, I'm guessing. Yep. They got a bunch of gold mines. What do they actually have here? They've got 4 gold mines. Some are even vaguely developed. The Slavers Bay, I'm gonna guess. In fact, we have the technology. We can check this. I'm gonna guess they have the most cash. Oh, the tribute is still up there. Slavers Bay down here. But to be fair to Slavers Bay, unfortunately, tribute, influence ideas. Something afoot in Europe. Something afoot in Europe. The Yarnish conquest of Leipzig. There's something afoot in Europe, and the tributaries aren't involved. Who have declared this war? It's Yharnam against Rhine-Neckar. Yharnam think they can take it. Valencia are in this one as well. It's an interesting war, but I think Apulia, not long for this world. But if Luxembourg are focused down, and that seems to be what's happening with Picardy, Apulia, Valencia, all getting involved, the glorious reign of Luxembourg could be coming to a crashing halt. And we see Gorovdish. What are they doing? They're in Canada. That would be a major prize to knock out Luxembourg from the war this early. Can the tributaries be called in at any time? Not necessarily. Do the tributaries want to go to war with Rhine-Neckar? Do they have enough favours to go to war? To call them in without promising them land? The tributaries don't really even strictly want this land. They may have claims. They don't even have claims. But Yharnam, what do Yharnam have? They do have quantity ideas. They're building defensive ideas. They've got quite good combat ideas at the core. They've got the plus 10% discipline. On the other side, Rhine-Neckar, Moritz Revanche, headmaster of the University of whatever it was, which was the theme, University of Heidelberg. They've taken espionage. They haven't finished quantity. They don't have that great ideas. They've got 7.5 discipline. I feel like this was a good war. Why do they have 2 wars? Because Kostani are going in on Zagreb. And they've brought Nicosonia with them. Why? Quite why Zagreb are being defended by Rhine-Neckar, I couldn't tell you. But it's looking more and more difficult for Rhine-Neckar. What we need is a wild card. Someone who's going to do something really dumb. That should be Luxembourg. They should kick Luxembourg out of the war. They shouldn't care about taking land from them. They just need to white piece them out so they can move their armies across, so they can stop the Luxembourg army wherever it inevitably is. See, look, here's just 33k of, you know, untouched troops. That's 33k troops you don't need to be fighting. White piece them out. Get it done with. Because very soon, Apulia will be gone. That's another 17k down there. The 50,000 troops. You can just get rid of them. You can get them out of the war. Breton separatists, but you have to imagine that the Torrent Left will easily deal with those once they bother to ship across. For a wild card, you'd have Tver coming in from the west with Hanserreich. Did they? Oh no, something else has happened. Well, Tver won't be coming in anytime soon because it is now all kicking off. Chigoris have brought in Akamenia against Lagofia, who have brought in Tver. So what happened down here? Nicosonia, I think they've pushed a bit back out of Al Wahat. They didn't take their war goal in Mother Base. But Lagofia getting beaten down once again. Chigoris going in on the offensive. And well, Chigoris getting beaten back. I don't remember this lovely sweeping curve in my step brick in the wall. So, Luxembourg have been knocked out of the war. So you've got Luxembourg proper, and then you've got Luxembourgian France completely disconnected now. What will happen if we pan over to India? Oh no. Oh god, just in time to see the complete capitulation of Australia Major. Now torn into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, the separatists and oh dear. Is this them? 7, 8, 9. Australia Major now in 9 separate parts. Though to be fair, I think that's how many parts they were in before Shambhala started with them. Mahasada already at 0 mandate. And Chigoris are occupied. They're not going to be called in on any war. And Shambhala going to be champing at the bit just to kill off the Emperor of China. Shambhala are warning Gyan Lane. Yeah, what Gyan Lane gonna do? Who are Gyan Lane gonna declare war on? Nade, Shah, Tally-ho still exist. For a given value of exist. Not many occupations going on inside Rhine-Neckar, but Aporia are being taken down. Communist Luxembourg still struggling with revolts. Lagofia and their entire lack of forts really coming back to bite them. Lagofia going down and fast this session. Akamenia with all these occupations, and they can actually extend their reach all the way to the Black Sea. They may lose the Persian Gulf, but then they'll just get another coast at the Black Sea. Did Nero survive? He's not survived in Ireland. But the new Nero Empire lives on with half the size of their army, still under Jacob Erskine, of course, the old stalwart there. He has some islands in the north of Scotland. He does. Being brought down by Catholic zealots, of course. There's Norwegian culture, which isn't even accepted. They don't even want those islands. If you're the delegation and you're declaring stupid wars, surely you want to be coming in against Rhine-Neckar now as they're getting beaten down. This is a reconquest war, the reconquest of Leipzig. Oh, but that's quite a lot. I thought that's a reconquest, they're not going to be able to take much, but they have quite a few cores. Ah, yes, because Rhine-Neckar beat back on him in a war. Who are Rhine-Neckar's allies? Well, it used to be the Tributaries of Hansereich before Rhine-Neckar ruined it. And now it's Valencia and Picardy. It was Aporia, but oof. They're not looking so good nowadays, having been knocked out of this war. Full occupation there for Kastanje on Zagreb, but now they have to beat back Rhine-Neckar. Have Batnarkia allied to Aporia? Well, that's helping no one. Big old battle. Rhine-Neckar, was that a wipe? Did they just wipe a Yharnam army? The Barmy Yharnam army? The Epiphany Separatists now going at the Brittany army. Breton Separatists going at Luxembourg, and Luxembourg can't get through. Their army could be trapped. Trapped in their capital. Look at this. This is Curonia beating down Rhein-Neckar now. Curonia, who... These guys over here, they're almost a non-factor. But why? What's this army doing here? Rhein-Neckar can't afford to send marauding armies just to try and take out the Livonian Order. Switzerland can't get land from this war. Well, they're not in the war. They've been knocked out. They could have gotten land. But thankfully, the scholar Moritz Revanche was sure to knock them out quickly. Honestly, that's probably a good move. Right, having been a bit pissed off with getting knocked back, the Toronto left, and their 66-strong fleet of transport ships are going to land a 45k stack on these separatists and deal with these ones. Return corps, yep, return corps could be part of the peace, and indeed it's more likely to be part of the peace, because you can do that for free. As part of a reconquest war. So Yharnam could indeed, if they win this war, force Rhein-Neckar not just to give up these corps, but to give these corps back as well. The Lagofia going down. Chigoris, they've pushed back land in the south, but there's just, you know, a little Tverian escape striding its way across Siberia. Celestial Revolutionaries. That seems a bit early. Oh, God! I regret everything. Who's this? To catch you? Will Upon have that province back? Noble rebels, particularists, peasants, Paragonean pretender rebels, Hanseong separatists, Qingzhou. Yeah, no. No. Mahasada, they'll be going down fast. Because not only does the mandate kill your armies and kill your economy, but it also brings up... It's +5 revolt risk, isn't it? Yeah, +5... No, not revolt, but +5 national unrest. And you can't hire mercenaries. Go back to Australia Major. Australia, not really major anymore, honestly. Yep, Jabaraland, they made their way across. Communist Luxembourg looking to become relevant any which way they can. They're getting in between Hispania and Jabaraland there. Isn't that... Yeah, that's Communist Luxembourg over there as well. But back to the main event of the evening. It's still a pretty even war, so long as Rhein-Neckar keep control of Leipzig. Who's been pieced out there? They actually managed to knock out Curonia. That's impressive. Rhein-Neckar are bringing this one back. Against the odds, it's now a one-on-one war between Rhein-Neckar and Yharnam. Oh, with Picardy still on that side as well. What's manpower like? Well, it's not going to be great. So Yharnam likewise have knocked out Valencia. And whoever was on the other side. I mean, I think what we're all waiting for, though, is for Rhein-Neckar to turn the tide. And then the tributaries over the Alps spilling over into Volstadt. Oh, it's fine. Because the tributaries kind of busy. Teshuvah have a reasonably good army. Oh, but it's Aydin now. Did Teshuvah get Aydin as an ally? That's a good pickup. Teshuvah... Aydin is pretty much the perfect ally for Teshuvah. Because nobody bigger will really go for them. And we can see Aydin's army coming round here. That's going to be a fight for the tributaries. Unless they land on Aydin first, while their army's round in Egypt. Which is what's so obviously going to happen now. Yeah, what's happened to Yharnam? Oh, they've captured all this from behind. And their armies had to withdraw. So me mocking that move of trying to take out Curonia was actually so amazing. It was the proest move. As always with solos in EU4, it's the proest move by accident. Oh, what's the time? This hour and a half has flown by. So Rhein Nakar with a plus 24 war score. They can probably get whatever... Well, they can probably get a white piece just now. Although you can kind of see the amassing armies now of Yharnam. If they all amass their armies and just smash them at one another, who'd win? I'd say at this stage probably still Yharnam. And that's why, potentially, Rhein Nakar. But you know what? We'll take what we can. Is that the gold province? Which one's the gold province? They already have the gold province. But it's worth noting that obviously Yharnam are this huge beast now. But what Yharnam started as is this here. Prague's their capital. This is their core land. That's the gold mine that Yharnam survived the early game using, and it all now belongs to Rhein Nakar, who have played an amazing war there. So over here... Oh no. Right, who's all in on Mahasada? The Hive! I haven't mentioned the Hive today. They had a monumental collapse. But they are now back. It's a reconquest war, and they have so many cores to reconquer. And who are... I was saying mockingly, who are Gyan Lane gonna go to war with? Well, Mona Rohan have declared war on Mahasada, and Gyan Lane are going in with them. Gonna try and take up the rest of Nepal. They might have cores there. I don't know, what do Gyan Lane actually want? Nothing. They've got cores to the east and the west. They don't want anything from Mahasada, but I bet they'd take some land if they were offered. Yeah, Mahasada could die so quickly that we could even see them go this session. We could see Mahasada gone from peak to nothing in half an hour. Quick, but before this war goes... Keep that running. 537 development. What do we think they're going to end on? That's what the development... No, that's the devastation. That's what their development looks like. So obviously a lot of their development is down here. They've got Canton, Hong Kong, major trade province. Meanwhile, Zagreb and Athens in a one-on-one war. The tributary is still at war. Massive fleet will just crushed the Tashuvan war fleet. Here's the thing though, this is an interesting war, because let me show you this. The war score comes from, the war goal is port blockading. So the truth is, there we go. You just saw it pop up there. If the tributaries actually blockaded some ports, this would be an easy win. And again, I'm not sure that they're looking to take land, although I'm sure they wouldn't mind it. See, they're back to only really wanting Jabba and Tatooine. Yeah, Iden are just hanging out. Like, you know what? Oh, Iden getting stuck in there. Tributaries gonna come in to help, but that's just gonna let that massive hulk of an army trap them. It's Hispania and their insane power. Although, that Liberty Desire is a lot further up than it used to be. They don't really need to do much. Because ultimately, the tightrope the Tributaries have been walking. There's like a limit to how far the Tributaries can expand. There's a limit to how much they can really throw around their marks. Yeah, Hispania taking out Valencia at some point is probably a given. Oh, look, it's King Arthur. Noted militarist. For Valencia there. This is a couple of weak kings we've got coming through. Oh, for goodness sake. Shambhala once again are in. Mono Rohan taking all that land is actually very detrimental to the Hive. It means they can't. Until Mono Rohan peace out, the Hive can't take all their cores back. You have to expect that once the Celestial Entente, because the Celestial Entente are now a good little country with their 24,000 decent troops. Because what have they got? They've got quantity, they've got offensive. They've got celestial traditions. They can have a big old army. Got decent morale. So the Celestial Entente, they can either use Reconquest, I imagine. They can use a big old Reconquest there. Or they can just go for the Mandate of Heaven again. Because they would, wouldn't you? Anyway, Europe kind of died down again. It all seems to flare up at once, which is never really what you like to see. I'd like just lovely little manageable wars. Like, oh, what's going to happen between Zagreb and Athens here? Hopefully Athens are going to die. Hopefully they're dead. And we'll never have to speak of them or of King Gregorius Idenoglu again. Why did Nicosonia have 30,000 troops on Crete? Just to confuse me with their colours, I think. Lagothia knocked out of this war. Interesting. So what happened here with Jagoras? Did they take this land? Did they lose it? I think Bashgird was always the border with Chagoras and Tavera anyway. But instead, Chagoras are going on a Mono Rohan. Or maybe they were always in this war? And that's why they came out of it? That's why they gave up on further conquest into Europe? Because let me tell you, if Chagoras were to conquer that line of provinces there and have a nice straight line here. Oh, mwah, bellissimo. Yarn Lane could end up with a decent chunk of Tibet. Shambhala, Koch, and the Punjabi prison have taken up the offer. Anadeshur. The River Lions are out of there. One must expect. The Nadeshur heard there was a new emperor of China in town and thought, oh goody, we'll pledge allegiance to that. Oh no. Oh no. Meanwhile, Camelot and Gyan Lane are just sitting there shrugging their shoulders like, yeah, well, the Tally-Ho's still fine under our protection. Maybe you should have listened. At least a level 5 hill fort is going to cause a whole load of attrition for Shambhala. And at the end of the day, isn't that really what matters? I really want to avoid missing anything in Europe now. Oh, hello. Hispania have actually colonized this province. Or rather, they've begun to colonize that province. They'll have a direct border now with Slavers Bay. Interesting. Interesting. Hold on. Where's the Hallelujah sound clip? Can I have a soundboard? Alright, good enough. Not timely, but good enough. Hallelujah is for Slavers Bay actually looking to expand. Yeah, up the Slavers. They're good lads, the Slavers. Let's get a louder song on. A louder track on. We have just under 25 minutes to go. So let's put on 25 minutes of music. Kashuva losing provinces. A likely story. Do we think Zagreb are actually holding out and seeing if they can take Crete? Well, I suppose Crete is their capital now. Clever. Oh no. The rise and fall of Luxembourg. And it's Epiphany. Epiphany allied with Corsica. Oh no, it's Epiphany against Picardy and Rhine-Neckar. Right, hold on. Right, what are Rhine-Neckar doing? A war with Luxembourg and Epiphany and Switzerland. Killing the Luxembourg army as we speak in the Alps. Rhine-Neckar desperately building up a new army. But I imagine they're just building to force limit rather than going, oh no, we're absolutely going to lose this. So Picardy have attacked Epiphany, which somehow drew in Luxembourg. But because Picardy have... That's the most impressive list of allies I think I've seen in this game. You've got Hispania, you've got the Holy Roman Emperor, you have Rhine-Neckar, then you've got Brittany and Groningen. It's like, I like the idea that Quinny just comes in, because like, yeah, we're still the best Luxembourg. But meanwhile, completely contained within the session, Luxembourg came all the way out, essentially touched the Atlantic, taking Paris. But by the end of the session, they're just nothing. If you think it's impressive that Epiphany are gone, then let's take a gamble and say that Mahasada are gone. No. What? After all that, did they only take one province? Well, I suppose Gyan Lane took all of Nepal, to be fair, which probably would have taken up a load of war score. But this is now Mahasada versus the Hive. And the Hive, though smaller, they'll have the advantage of all these occupations already. That is separatists loyal to the Hive as well. So the Hive, more than likely to win this war. Yet there's their army there. I barely see a Mahasada army at all. Yeah, the tributaries are at war. Look, there they are down here. There they are, sitting with, you know, tens of thousands of troops on a tiny desert island, taking massive attrition. We are actually very close. These aren't all wars of conquest. We're actually seeing quite a few non-wars of conquest. Like the tributaries getting fancy about declaring white peace. That one, there might be... It's either a white peace or it's, you know, a little bit of gold. But we are getting very close to diplomatic level 23. And for those of you not as familiar with EU4, level 23 unlocks what is called advanced casus belli. In particular, it unlocks nationalism and it unlocks imperialism. What imperialism does is lets you declare war on anyone, anywhere, for any reason, because that's what people did. That's what empires did. They said, I want that little bit of land. Yeah, I'll take it. Whereas nationalism lives up to its name. I reckon Rhein-Neckar, with their capital in Heidelberg and all their German culture, they could declare a nationalist war against Yarnum and take all their German provinces for... Yeah, we've got a nationalist war kicking off already. What timing? So that is Curonia going in on Heilig Malchus. Oh, a port and Tver actually. Tver in this. Tver trying to save Heilig Malchus. Let's have a quick zoom out and get a picture of that then. Yeah, because Yarnum are in it, so there's, you know, should be quite easy. And Aporia going down like a sack of potatoes again. Annoyingly, it's almost annoyingly, it's Curonia with all of the occupations, which means that none of this land will be taken by Yarnum. Aporia will just be knocked out of the war. Perhaps forced to annul treaties. They're guaranteed by Rhein-Neckar, which is good. How's Chigoris doing? Are they still at this war? Still in that war? Did they lose provinces to Monorohan there? Ah, so that'll have been what the war score was spent on. Yes. 12 development around it. A mountain fort, actually. That's very handy. Those are two good pickups. Wow. Grain in the middle of Siberia, not a great pickup. But the mountain fort, a very good pickup. Fars becomes very good at around this time. Hopefully the Hive can complete this war before this session is over. Because I'd like to see them back on the map a bit more. Speaking of on the map a bit more, it looks like Glorious Nippon are they gradually cloning their way back? Who knows? Chigoris are into Korea. I didn't see that earlier on. But yeah, they are all the way down into Korea as well. And what that does, actually, I'll quickly show you this, is that there is trade that comes in across the Pacific into the Jiren node and into the Nippon node. So if they take the Nippon node, that stops trade leaking out of Jiren, and that trade just goes directly into Siberia, all the way across Russia. And lest we forget that the trade coming into Jiren comes across from California, which, you know, owned by the delegation, but you also have Chigoris in that area as well. And in fact, Alaska is all the California node as well. So there is a coherent strategy here from Chigoris, which isn't something I typically say about AI, right? The delegation are fighting a naval battle. Oh, big old war. And the leftists are getting imperialist. They're going in on Brittany, which includes the delegation. Now, obviously, that's a bit of a small war until we zoom out and have a look at the New World. And again, butting heads. But again, this is an imperialist war. They can take anything and everything they want. The war goal, though, will be to take one of these provinces. Finisterre. Is always to take the opponent's capital, which is why sometimes imperialism isn't necessarily a good CP to use. This is all Steiermark down here. Athens, not quite gone, but reduced to Crete. I really hope they've rivaled Batnakia. No possible rivals, look! Island over here, island over there. You can rival each other. I bet Batnakia has a rival. Yeah, the city of Bari. The city of Bari, you're going down, son. So is this war still going on? Yep, it's Hispania losing another war, trying to take Kilwa. That's a 3-star general for Jabariland. 5444, brilliant. Shambhala's armies are in the area. Here's the Hispanian armies, accompanied as ever by the Garavis. Garav and Hispania down in South Africa as well. I just think it's beyond the AI to really expand like this. It's like if you're going to declare a war of conquest, you need to sit on Kilwa. It's a war of Kilwa, right? Yep. The second Hispanian conquest of Kilwa. They'd be winning the war if they had Kilwa. That's all they need to do. Just sit on it. Invite the armies onto you. But imagine if Slavers Bay actually do awaken and colonizing that one province is just the worst decision they've ever made. Apulia actually getting still part of this war and getting unsieged. And for the life of me, I can't tell you how. Right, the tolerant left have landed in Brittany. They've taken the war goal. Delegation are in the area as well. But what the tolerant left need to do, well, I say need. What they absolutely should do is they need to keep one of these ports clear. Because that means that they can directly ship troops into that port without having to have them march from the Channel to Cotentin or however. Luxembourg army. Oh no! What kind of a Luxembourg doesn't even own Luxembourg? We have two Luxembourgs in the game, and neither of them own the province of Luxembourg. I think you mean Luxembourg. No, I don't. Valencia maintain their solid alliances. tributaries going down influence ideas, as they very much should. They've been all about the vassal game so far. They're going to annex Navarra. Which one's Navarra? The fetishist Republic of Navarra. How... I think we've seen this before. Haven't we? And we just couldn't figure it out. And I still can't figure it out. Aren't Batnakia animist? Yeah, Batnakia are animist. It's nothing to do with them. We had Akile Yuska over here. They were animist as well. We'll maybe look at that later, see if we can figure that out again. Nicosonia in Lagofia. Because Achaemenia, I think, once again, have bitten off more than they can chew. They've got the Punjabi prison on their side, and Punjabi prison are pretty good. Oh, but Gyanlane are in with them as well. In against them, rather. So they've attacked Lagofia in a crusade that's brought in Nicosonia, but then Monorohan, Gyanlane and Mother Base have surrounded them and gone for a conquest. The Monorohan conquest. Jagoras in as well. So that is a big old stack of troops that have caught this tolerant left army. Look at that for a battle. Full lines on both sides. And a complete wipe in Catentan. If the tolerant left had kept those armies together, then, you know, maybe they'd have had a chance. How are Jagoras in this? They got called into the initial war as an ally against Lagofia and Nicosonia. So Jagoras should get out alright from this if they can actually bring their army to the west. Because, yeah, they're going to shut down this silly business. This funny business in the north. And then they're just going to roll over Fortless Lagofia. Probably knock them out. Well, not knock them out. They're the actual war targets. But it just depends if Achaemenia can hold out long enough not to completely capitulate to everyone. Which is not something I'd bet on. Oh, if this somehow leads to Gyanlane getting back on the map, I am suddenly all for it. Can't see it happening though. So there we go, the Hive. Have they got back all their cores? All their cores from Mahasada, certainly. Look at that, losing even all their meager tributaries. Another new Chinese nation. Chao have always been there. Yumeng. I shouldn't be trying to pronounce this. I'm sure it'll be frightfully offensive for various people. The Hive indeed going in on their cores on Hangzhong as well. And that's kind of the strength of being previously so big and having so many cores to take, is that as soon as the country that's taking your cores is vulnerable, you can just swoop right in. So the Hive could even... Oof. Like, looking at this, the Hive could even... They've got half a chance of taking on Jagoras right now. Unless we forget Jagoras, the third greatest power in all the land. Shambhala getting massively up there. Right. War is over here. Australia I keep saying Australia Minor. And they have legit become Australia Minor now. Just look at this. They're not even the aggressor anymore. It's these guys attacking Australia Major. I just kind of want them to actually make... Can they get a colonial nation if their capital is already in Asia? Who knows? Certainly not me, otherwise I wouldn't be asking. Did Matampa always have that little bit of Jabaraland? I think they did. Wishful thinking. So this war rolls on. But without another successful landing in Brittany, it's not going to be a win for the Tolerant Left. They have managed to take a fort in the delegation itself. Doesn't matter for much. This is kind of where the action is just now. Down here, centered on Akamina. Monorohan and Gyan Lane trying to concentrate on the Punjabi prison, push them out. Lest we forget that Gyan Lane do have a number of cores they could take from Punjabi prison to Monorohan. They have one. So Punjabi prison very much a target as well as Akamina here. We've done fairly well for ourselves here. Through quite a lot of stuff in this 2 hours. Another attempt at an amphibious landing. We've got 42k of the Tolerant Left round here. And more trying to take Finisterre. Check me trying to put a pronunciation on it and the pronunciation immediately going wrong. Kalmanot have had a very quiet session. But who are they realistically going to go beat up? Oh no. oh no. Kalmanot are doing their absolute best to become embroiled in a war. If they're going to protect Australia Major, that's going to bring them into conflict with Shambhala. If they've cancelled their protection and their alliance with the Tally-Ho, that could bring them up against Gyan Lane. So Kalmanot's time will come in next session. The Hive. Back at it. They should be taking every single one of these provinces, and there's probably some decent ones in there. 10, 17, there we go. 6, 5, 5. I didn't even look at the goods. Center of trade as well. They didn't take it all. But they took enough. The Hive right back up there. How are they doing tech-wise? Not even that far behind anymore. I like how Athens have been all but eliminated. So you look at Europe, oh, it's all lovely and green on the mainland, and then you just zoom into Crete. There's a flashing LED in the corner of your eye. Cha-chow going for the mandate of heaven, and I hope they take it. Oh god, imagine the embarrassment that the Emperor of China is guaranteed by Shambhala. Four provinces and gunning for the emperorship. The Mahasada even have an army. They've got 7,000 troops there. It's not going to beat the 10,000 up there. Surely they can scrounge together more than 7,000 troops. Why wouldn't Shambhala just take them out instead? Because I expected them to have a truce and they didn't. Because taking loads of land gives you a long truce. But maybe they just don't want that land. Is Shambhala? Oh, No. How dare they promote High Guru Falun Eva, a diplomat, to lead Shambhala? So that's why they're not just taking them out instead. I like how they still want to take Katak, though. So, Mother Base. Exile troops. Couldn't tell you why. Shall we go one more year? We're going to call it here, actually, because I'll look at stats, etc. That is bang on 11 o'clock. And we are going to leave it to bang on, definitely bang on the 1st, 2nd, maybe 3rd of January. Bang on! The 1st of January, 1694. So that's where we're going to leave it for this session. So anybody still watching along, if you've got any questions, we can dig into the ledger, we can have a look into various province histories, and of course we'll look at the scores. So oh, Jesus Christ. We expected it to happen at some point. But I didn't expect the tributaries to fall off this much. But yeah, Hispania just rolling away with it, first place in absolutely everything. The tolerant left could potentially catch up. Tolerant left, 4th, 2nd and 3rd. Right, let's have a quick look at individually. Shambhala, 2nd in military, of course. You can kind of see what goes into everything, and the biggest factor in the military score is soldiers. Plus 13 from soldiers. Incidentally, this score doesn't affect what score you get over here. It's like you'll get a score for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, all the way down to like 10th place, I think. Maybe 8th place. No, down to 10th place. Want to play some Jackbox? Yeah, I'll stream Jackbox. If somebody else wants to stream Jackbox, I'll play along. But don't we only have like an hour until the wrestling starts? So I'll rush through this then. So we see the scores. Hispania are running away with it. And, you know, it's very difficult to see how they could be stopped. How could Hispania be stopped? They've enforced religion on Gorovdesh. And they're still only at 18% liberty desire. Yeah, it's game over. Look at New Hispania have 50 regiments. Hispania and Brazil have 32. Gorovdesh have 64. You always get that liberty desire from colonies, though. So that being at 47 isn't really news to me. And you can easily bring it down. They've all got rubbish little provinces that can be easily developed up. If I can click on the right thing, you can easily develop up the provinces. And that's going to be, what, like minus... minus 40 there. And that's going to be right down. Yeah, tolerant left, concentrating perhaps on... Yeah, we say tolerant left running wild. I think there's some issues. Lunar Empire still alive. Willing to ally with Hispania. Holy Roman Empire, oof. Dennis von Kamichi, not too popular. Neither is his heir. Very nearly the same age, called Dennis von Kamichi. Quick look at development then. No, income is what I want to look at actually. So I imagine Hispania have now massively overtaken the tributaries. Outstripping everyone else. Delegation, see, delegation massively up there, same with the tolerant left. Navies, because tributary has been calling out for a little while. Heavy ships. Hispania untouchable. Look at that force limit and they're filling it out. Inside the Mediterranean, the tributary is still untouchable. Still going way above the force limit. Trade-wise, Hispania, again, dominating everything. But some massive navies being built. Something I'm interested in. First of all, armies. You see, Shambhala now... Did they just complete quantity ideas? So Espana this session have completed quantity ideas. Jaguars have galleys. Well, if we have a quick look in here, they do border an inland sea. In fact, a few galleys over here. Most of their sea provinces are on an inland sea. It's the thing that really annoys me, because obviously Baltic Inland Sea, Mediterranean Inland Sea, this is just inland sea here, but then all around China is inland sea. And then around the Philippines, it's not. Who can say why? Certainly not Paradox. Or Paradox presumably have at some point. 1700, I think, is that going to be manufactories, or is it going to be... Have we already got manufactories? Yep, it's the Enlightenment. So manufactories spawned last time out in Shambhala. We have one last institution to spawn, and that's the Enlightenment. And that can spawn pretty much anywhere. You can see the conditions there. Place either has to have a university, a seat in parliament, or a bunch of stuff has to be true about it. But I imagine universities are going to be widespread by now by the AI. Because the AI is a lot better at managing its money now. It has a lot more money to spend. And as we saw with the tributaries early on, it literally built every single building it could. But you can always build universities. They don't take up a slot. Oh, speaking of disasters. Talk if you want to elaborate on what you want to look at. I'm interested to hear. Was Communist Luxembourg under disaster all this time, or...? Because we've got Lollards, heretics, peasants, particularists, or is it just... I think it's just a train of really poor legitimacy. The tolerant left had a disaster brewing. Court and country, and they're going to get hit by court and country. So court and country is a bit of a weird one, in that it's not... I think it's not like a real disaster. It's essentially a series of decisions that lets you choose whether you want to have maximum absolutism or not. And, oh, the tolerant left certainly do. Let's have a quick look through. Because 75 out of 75 absolutism is really impressive, I think, for an AI. Tribute will have nothing. He'll have max absolutism of 20 out of 20. Who might have good absolutism? Hunterreich, maybe? Yeah. See, I can pick him. 78 out of 78. There's no way to actually check this beyond going into everyone in turn. Shambhala, maybe. 45, getting up there. I find the big nations don't really tend to have good absolutism. Epiphany probably don't have it because they've been beaten down, but they can always get up there. Rhein-Neckar, good. Oh, Rhein-Neckar and Yarnum could just go absolutely wild with absolutism. How have they got this much? How have they actually gotten that much? We'll never know. Do I mean nice? Have I missed out on a quality meme? Oh, nice. Absolutism there. It's fair, because you always hear about Russian absolutism. Not really. You always hear about Russian absolutism. I hear about, you know, Russian absolutism and absolute rule because I've just finished a course studying 20th century history. I'd assume my experiences aren't exactly the same for everyone else. But if you did the exact same course as me, oh, you'd have always heard about Russian absolutism. Delegation, there'll be a Dutch Republic, so they'll have some kind of limit on their absolutism. Yeah, they're pretty much at their max absolutism. Orangists completely in power for their land force limit modifier. Making a whole load of money. They should be spending that on Diplotech. They could get to Tech 23 right now. Right now. They could get more mercantilism. They could accept Burgundian culture. But they're not. Why aren't they spending that money? Switzerland. Why do we care about how absolute Switzerland are? With their level 7 mountain forts and amazing generals. And their 100% militarization of their country because they've only got one province. God, they've only got 10 troops. But what an amazing 10 troops that they have. They have 10 troops with full quantity ideas. If you were Switzerland, why wouldn't you just go like everything you have into that? How much has that improved your force limit? You can now get one extra troop. But anyway, anything else to look at, or should I quickly shut the stream down and start up some Jackbox games? We can finish the play a bit before half of us go to watch professional wrestling, like cool guys. I mean, I won't be going to watch wrestling, I'm a cool guy. Oh, Slavers Bay, actually. The biggest force limit. That production as well. Right, so we are going to leave it here. Thank you very much for watching. I honestly wasn't expecting many people to be coming in, and any good rules about? We can have a quick check on that while I try and ham-fistedly say goodbye to people. I just want to say thanks for watching, because I didn't really advertise that I was going to do the stream today. Top EU4 streamer on Twitch? Yeah, probably. That doesn't take much. But then people showed up anyway. It was like pretty great. But yeah, next week, unless anything goes wrong, it's just going to be back to 9 till 11, 9 till 11 every Sunday. Until we hit 1821. Or until we want to tap out and say, you know what? It's a bit of an unassailable lead. Oh yeah, if there's any World Cup games clashing with the stream, then I'll look around and maybe rearrange times, etc. But anyway, I was looking to be finished here by 1:15. And that's about 1:15. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week. Hold on. One last thing. 16, 19, 19. Still step nomads. Oh no.